Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Jiva and welcome back for the very last reading vlog of 2024. And this time we're actually gonna do a little festive and cozy 24-hour readathon. I'm actually extremely nervous about this, but at the same time very excited. And that's mainly because I haven't attempted a 24-hour readathon in a very long time. And so far I don't think I have had any successful cases of doing a 24-hour readathon. Hence why today we are actually gonna follow the format for the 24-hour readathon of one of my favorite vlogs that I've actually seen of, such an attempt. And it was actually like a cozy version of a 24-hour readathon where the reader, she set up a timer, and whenever she had to like do something for work or she had to take a break from the readathon, she actually would pause the timer and then pick it back up again when she was done with what she had to do. So since it's currently December 27th, obviously I have all the time for the next couple of days to do a 24-hour readathon, but it's also the sort of time where just family takes a lot of attention and they need a lot of like tender loving care right now. So I might need to like take some breaks from the readathon to kind of spend some time with them. Hence why we are sticking with this format. So I hope you guys don't mind, but I will be attempting this 24-hour readathon over the next couple of days. I will be taking breaks for sleeping, by the way, because I don't do sleepless nights. So yeah, hope you're okay with that, but I also hope that I managed to kind of capture the cozy and festive feeling for this 24-hour readathon, and I will still be reading for 24 hours. So yeah, so before starting the timer for the 24-hour readathon, I just quickly like to introduce you to my TBR for today. So I'm gonna start it off with a couple of books that I've actually started already but haven't finished yet, and today seems like the perfect opportunity to do so. So I'm currently listening to the audiobook of The Wedding Witch by Erin Sterling. So in this one we actually follow the third Penhallow brother, so we follow Bowen Penhallow. He's a bit of a recluse, but he's also a collector of magical artifacts, and he ends up hiring a lady called Tamsin to be like his personal treasure hunter for magical artifacts. And on one of their joint quests to find an artifact and learn more about it, they actually end up time traveling into the past, and while there they actually have to figure out what the heck is going on and how to make it back to their present time. It's been really nice so far. I really love the banter between the two main characters, just like I did in the first two books, and it's so fast-paced and fun, and it's exactly what you would expect if you are a fan of the Kisklers and the XX. So yeah, so far it's been very good, and I can't wait to finish it. The book that I'm currently reading physically is The Magic in Changing Our Stars by Leah Johnson. This is a middle grade. It's about Ailey. He has stage fright, and him being a very talented rapper and dancer, this is just a big hit to his self-esteem and his confidence. So when he confides this to his grandfather, he actually ends up going on this journey into the past where he meets the younger version of his grandfather, and together they sort of have to figure out how to get over their stage fright. So far from what I have read, it is such a charming story. It is absolutely magical. I love the relationship in the story so far, especially between Ailey and his grandfather. They have such a special bond, both of them being performers. I feel like they really understand each other and know what the other is going through. So yeah, it's a magical read so far, and I cannot wait to see what happens next. It is a bit emotional though, so I have a feeling it might be a tearjerker, but we're gonna see how the story goes down. And next I put another middle grade on my TBR, because for a 24-hour readathon it's always good to have some middle grades, some fast-paced and fun middle grades, to really get through quickly. And this time I'm gonna be reading The House at the Edge of Magic by Amy Sparks, and in this one we follow this young orphan girl. She's called Nine, and she's a pickpocket. She ends up stealing an ornament from a lady that turns out into something much more than just an ornament. It actually turns into a real-life house. And when our main character Nine ends up knocking on the door, some very quirky characters answer her. So that's pretty much what I know about this story. I just am so intrigued by it. I love the cover. It sort of gives me a TJ Klune vibe, and that's another reason why I feel so drawn to it and why I'm so curious what exactly the story is going to be about, so yeah, I'm excited to be jumping into this one. Next up, I'd like to read some Christmas romances, since we're currently stuck in this weird in-between time, between the Christmas holidays and the New Year's holidays. it feels like the last appropriate time to try and read some more Christmas romances. So there's three that I would really like to get to. First up, I have here one physically. It's called Cat Cafe Christmas by Codi Gary. I have no idea what the story is about, and that's the way that I like it. All I know is that there's gonna be a cat cafe and it's set around Christmas time. That's genuinely all I know about it, but I've had this book on my TBR for a couple of years now and I've heard great things about it, so I really would like to actually get to it now before time runs out, you know? The next couple of Christmas romances I actually don't own, but one of them is an audiobook I'd like to listen to. It's called The Comfort Food Cafe and it is written by Leah Johnson. So it's basically about this young woman. She's called Maxine and she's had a bit of a rough patch in life recently. She went through an ugly divorce that really affected her self-esteem. It also affected her whole family. And so in an attempt to kind of jumpstart her life anew, she moves to this small town where she joins a crew of workers who work at the Comfort Food Cafe. And in this small town she just finds this lovely community of people who support her and would really like her to succeed and just welcome her with open arms. So this one sounds like it's gonna be just very charming and cozy and I can't wait to actually jump into it. So I've actually started reading the ebook version of this book already, but I only got 2 chapters in when I noticed that there's an audiobook available, and I have a feeling it's gonna be easier to listen to in audiobook format. That's why I've sort of switched to the audiobook version. But I do have a festive ebook that I would like to read still, and this one is called The Holidays by Brittainy Cherry. And in this one we actually follow this young woman who just is very bad at dating. Like, she always gets a first date but not so much a second date with any guy that she goes out with. And not really knowing what she's doing wrong, she actually decides to ask like a friend or somebody that she knows for help, and like he becomes her dating coach. So he kind of like gives her advice and pointers on what she's doing wrong and how to improve her game. So I've actually read some reviews of this book on Goodreads and everybody says such nice things about it. So yeah, I'm very excited to be jumping into this one. I am for sure reading this one. If nothing else, I for sure want to read The Holidays by Brittainy Cherry. Okay friends, and lastly, I needed some fantasy on top of all that contemporary romance that I'm gonna be reading. And I sort of found the perfect book at my local bookstore. So I have a copy of The Courting of Bristol Keats by Mary E. Pearson. I am so excited to be holding a copy of this book, and not just any copy. I have this very beautiful spray edged edition, and it just so happens that it perfectly fits what I'm currently in the mood for, like fantasy wise. So this is a fairy story. We actually follow 3 sisters who are sort of struggling in life right now. They suddenly lost both of their parents and they work very hard to make ends meet, but everything's sort of like fine, you know, as fine as it can be, until they get a letter from a supposed aunt that says that she knows something about their parents and their disappearance. So they're obviously worried of this being, you know, a scam, but Bristol is actually curious enough to go and meet this lady to see what she's about. And when she gets there, I think she's like swept away to the fairy world and she meets all kinds of people. And I think the synopsis sort of suggests that she may end up working with a man who may have had something to do with her parents' disappearance. So, sounds like there's gonna be some drama, but I am so ready for the drama. So, yeah, I would really like to get to this book. Okay everybody, it's now later on in the evening. It is currently about 6:30, so it's 18:36, and I'm about to start the timer for the readathon, so we're jumping into it. And what I'm starting with actually is the 2 books that I'm currently reading. So I'm hoping in the first couple of hours I can finish the 2 books that I'm reading. So one of them is an audiobook I'm currently listening to. I have about an hour left of The Wedding Witch by Erin Sterling. So I think I'm gonna listen to that first and do something while I'm listening to the audiobook. And then the second book I'm currently reading is actually The Magic in Changing Your Stars by Leah Johnson. I'm like around 100 pages into the story, and it is just gorgeous, beautiful. I think it's gonna be the perfect pick to just curl up, like put on some pajamas, curl up in the bed and just read it. I think it's gonna be like, it's a sort of book you can read in one sitting, so I'm very excited to be continuing on with this one. Those are my current plans. So like I said, I am currently listening to The Wedding Witch, and I actually have a fun little activity that I have been doing very rarely over December. There's a puzzle that I got in the beginning of December, and I got so excited about putting it together. It is a gorgeous piece of art. So I found this randomly in a store, and it is a puzzle of this magical looking library. It looks like, it gives me Dark Academia vibes, and I was immediately in love with it, so I knew I wanted to get it and try and put it together over the holiday season. So far the progress has been kind of slow because I just haven't had, not that I haven't had the time, I just haven't taken the proper time to like fully focus and, you know, commit to putting it together. But I kind of wanted to show you the progress so far. So I have it here on my table. I sort of have the frame already and some of the middle pieces, but it's not very much. I also have some oranges here with me because I'm craving some oranges, so I think I'm gonna dig into these as well while I'm listening to the audiobook. But yeah, I just wanted to show you this because it is something that I've been focusing on. Very poorly, obviously, but now it is the festive season, and I think it's time to actually invest some time into this. I really would like to get it together, put it together, finish it, is what I'm trying to say by the New Year's. So I think this is gonna be the challenge for, you know, the little vacation we're having over the holidays. So that's gonna be fun. I'm so excited. I've always loved when like the people whose videos I'm watching share some like puzzle content. It's always so calming and relaxing, like watching them put together a puzzle. But I'm not gonna lie, it is much more difficult maybe than it seems. So especially when you have a puzzle with like 1,000 or even more pieces, so it does get way more challenging. Okay everybody, so I've actually decided to change screen into my pajamas, so I wanted to show you what my Christmas pajamas looks like. This is actually my first time having like proper Christmas pajamas and not just like some sweatpants with a Christmas shirt. This is like legit a set that goes together with this very nice, very comfy, very warm sleeping robe, I guess, that is also Christmassy. So I think this is gonna be the perfect outfit to read in. Oh, and we also can't forget about the socks. So this is actually what the final collection of the socks from the advent calendar looks like. There's actually not all the pairs on here because I've already worn a couple of pairs this week, so they are currently in the washing. But these are the ones that we have now, and I think the ones that would fit the most with my pajamas. These ones are gorgeous, but I feel like with the pajamas, these ones would go the best. These are also possibly my favorite from the calendar. They are so gorgeous. I love the little trees, I love the red color, I love the little lines. I don't know, they just somehow scream festive, you know? So I think these are the ones. Okay everybody, it has taken me more than an hour to sort of color sort through the puzzle pieces. So I've sort of separated them roughly by color into these 4 different containers. And hopefully this is gonna make putting the, puzzle together easier. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know that I finished The Wedding Witch and I've switched to my next audiobook, which is actually this one. So I started listening to The Comfort Food Cafe by Leah Johnson, and I'm like an hour or an hour and a half or something into it already. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I love the mother-daughter relationship between the 2 main characters, and they've been my favorite so far. But I also just enjoy like the small town that they move to and like the townspeople, and I can't wait to actually learn more about the townspeople as well. So yeah, I have a feeling this is gonna be a cute and festive one, and I'm really excited. But yeah, I am now ready to start the actual work on the puzzle, so fingers crossed I make some progress tonight. But it does feel like that puzzle completely fried my brain tonight. But I would still like to try and read as late as I possibly can, so I'm actually about to switch to The Magic in Changing Our Stars. I'm gonna try to read this book physically. My goal is to stay up as late as midnight, if not even beyond that, but we're gonna see, because it does, like, my eyes are suffering already, so we're gonna see how it's gonna go. But yeah, I am still so excited to be getting back to this one, so I think it's gonna be a good deal. Good morning everybody. So I'm back, it's the next day and I'm actually just about to start a little reading sprint. I was thinking of doing an hour-long reading sprint and try and finish The Magic in Changing Your Stars. So I now have left 130 pages of this lovely, gorgeous, beautiful book, and I just feel like sitting down right now and just, going through it. I cannot wait. I have a feeling it's gonna be very emotional. But yeah. So this is what I'm going to be reading, and this is where I'm going to be reading. I have my little cozy nook ready. I have my little Christmas pillows on my rocking chair. I have my Christmas tree. I have my fireplace. So I think we're all set to do a little reading sprint.
Santa, I've been good this year. Make your list and check it twice. I'll leave you a note right here underneath the Christmas lights. Carols and bells, none of them help. I still feel blue. I just wanna fall in love this Christmas.
Okay everybody, so my hour is officially over, but I unfortunately didn't finish The Magic in Changing Your Stars. I got so close. I'm like 50 pages away from finishing it. And I think what I'm gonna do is that I'm actually gonna extend my sprint. I'm gonna sprint for another hour and finish the story, and I'm just thinking I'm gonna jump straight into another book after finishing this one. Because if I sprint for another hour, I think it puts me exactly in time to go and join my family for lunch. So I think that's gonna be the best plan for now. And I'm thinking of starting the holidays next, because that's the one I'm most excited about right now. So I think that's gonna be perfect. But first, I do want to finish this one because I'm seriously adore the characters in this story so much. I love Ailey obviously, but I love Taps so much. Like, I just keep imagining I want a story from Taps' perspective as he's growing up and doing tapping and everything, because he's just such a charming character, you know. It will be an awesome idea to get like his life story from his perspective, like from meeting Ailey on. I think that will be so cute. So yeah, I just love the relationship. Like, I love a grandfather-grandson relationship, but imagine like the grandson traveling back into the past and meeting his grandfather when he's like his age or like a little bit older, and they just become friends or something. It's such a cute experience. I don't know. I'm loving it so far. So yeah, I have a feeling this one is just gonna be a banger straight through. Okay, ready? Hello. So all of my reading sprint sessions are now over. I just had some lunch and I came here to take a little break, but also tell you that I have finished The Magic in Changing Your Stars by Leah Henderson, and this book ended up just being very beautiful. I honestly for a second thought that this book would end on a sad note. Like, I was preparing myself for something very sad to happen, but yeah, it didn't go in that direction, and I honestly have to say that I'm very happy about it. So I love how the story wraps up, and I'm very, very glad that I picked this book up because it ended up being beautiful and so inspirational. So yeah, I would highly recommend checking this book out. So yeah, that was The Magic in Changing Our Stars. And then I also started The Holidays by Brittainy Cherry. Oh my goodness, the banter in this story is so fun so far. I love the conversations and the relationship between the two main characters. They are so funny and they have so much chemistry. So yeah, I've loved it so far already. I think I'm like already 100 pages into it as well. It's so fast-paced, it's so easy to read. And yeah, I'm rooting for the two main characters to figure out their stuff. Obviously, both of them have had some traumatic past relationships, so they are both dealing with stuff that kind of makes them hesitate when it comes to trusting people. But yeah, it's very, very beautiful. I think my favorite character from the story so far, though, is the main guy's brother called Mano. He is such a sweetheart. Like, I wish we could get a story about him and his romantic life, because I have a feeling that would be very fun and very funny. Because he's such a sweetheart, you know. He's like sunshine or something. He's the sunshine character that a lot of stories have. So yeah, I think he's been my favorite so far. I obviously love the main couple, but he's just the real star of the story so far. So yeah, I just wanted to share this little reading update because I'm about to take a short break from reading. I just did like basically 3 hours of straight reading and my brain needs just a little break. So I think I'm gonna take a nap or something. This actually smells kind of minty. I can smell the ginger, but I feel like I can smell mint. And this smells very nice though, very fresh. So I think this is like a good morning tea. You can really tell that there's tea in there though. Oh, you can tell because I'm dropping it everywhere. Now I just have to wait for my water to boil, and I have a feeling it's actually gonna be soon, so. Okay friends, so I got my cup of tea ready. I've just taken my first sip of the tea and it is delicious. So I usually like my tea with a little bit of honey in it, but I feel like this one tastes so rich that no honey is needed, and I actually love that. So yeah, I'm so excited that I got this tea for the festive season. I feel like it's gonna come very in handy. So yeah, this is very, very good. And I'm also migrating to a new reading spot, so I just set up this little corner of the couch. I got my Christmas blanket, I got my Christmas pillows, I got some physical books because I feel like a cozy little setup like this does call for a physical book to read. So I've got the 2 books that I'm choosing between actually right there on the couch with me. So I was thinking between either starting The House at the Edge of Magic next, which is I feel like the stronger out of the 2 contenders, or either picking The Cat Cafe Christmas up next. But I feel like since I'm already reading the holidays, I kind of want to do the middle grade instead, even though I really want to jump into this one. But I don't know, I feel like I have the post-lunch brains, you know, who still have some energy to handle fantasy, so I think I'm gonna go with a fantasy. I think I'm gonna read The House at the Edge of Magic. So yeah, I just flipped through it and it has very like big font, so I think this is gonna be a breeze to get through. Like the line spacing is very large and also the font is very big, so I think this is gonna be like a very quick read. I'm very happy to report that The House at the Edge of Magic was such a breeze to get through. I read this in one sitting. I didn't even get up. I didn't even realize the time was passing, honestly. It just completely pulled me in, and it was such a delightful read. I have to fully agree, there is a blurb on the back of the cover that says, a Diana Wynne Jones-ish adventure fizzing with imagination, and I have to fully agree. So I've read Howl's Moving Castle this year, and I feel like there are some similarities between that book and The House at the Edge of Magic, mainly with like this quirky house that is filled with quirky characters, and we have a girl who comes along and actually has to help the quirky characters break a curse. So it was magical, it was fun, it was cozy. I love the slow budding friendship between the main characters. I love the chaotic magic. It is so filled with chaos, and I love how there's like nooks and crannies in this crazy house that just are so insane. Like, they make no sense, but they make for the most insanely magical adventure, you know. So yeah, it was amazing. I loved every single second of reading this one. It's definitely a new favorite middle grade. I love it so much, and I actually can't wait to check out more from the author. I'm definitely gonna be reading the next 2 books in the series. I'm so happy that I added this book for my TBR for this reading log, because I feel like it was a really nice addition. Somehow, even though it has nothing to do with like Christmas or the holidays, it still felt pretty festive and like magical and whimsical. So yeah, I feel like this one was a good pick to pick up right now. So I am done with The House at the Edge of Magic. Okay, so funnily enough, I actually kind of feel like I haven't gotten my feel of fantasy for the night yet. So instead of going back to the holidays right away, I actually think I'm gonna start the next fantasy novel, and that is The Courting of Bristol Keys by Mary E. Pearson. I am in this huge like fairy fantasy reading mood right now, and I feel like this is gonna be the perfect book. Gonna satisfy the itch, you know. So I am gonna be jumping into this one. It's gonna be my first time reading Mary E. Pearson, even though I have had my eye on every single book that she has ever come up with. So it's finally time to read some Mary E. Pearson, and it just feels so satisfying to be starting this one. So yeah, I'm very excited. It is a beast of a book, so I have zero hope of actually like finishing this book in this 24-hour readathon log, but I am hoping of just like reading a chunk of the start of the story, and then I can finish it through the New Year's holidays. So that's the hope. So I think I'm gonna read this one for a couple of hours before going back to the holidays, and I could not be more excited. I'm so happy that I'm about to jump into this one. So that's the plan for the rest of the night, and I'm excited about it. It is kind of confusing, but it's also very good so far. It's just that typical case of starting a new fantasy book where, you know, you have no idea what's going on. There's so many questions. The characters keep like talking in circles and in riddles and in codes, and it just doesn't make sense. So it's been kind of confusing so far, but I can already tell this is gonna be a really good book. But I genuinely have so many questions. Like, for one, who the heck are you people? Why the heck do you care about Bristol so much? And what the heck did you do to her parents? Like, did you hurt her parents? Because if so, like, give them back. So yeah, it's really, really good so far. And I kind of hate it that so far I can't pinpoint if we like are starting in the real world or are we starting in a fantasy world. So yeah, it's kind of still confusing, but I can't wait to continue with it because I do like the characters already, so I have a feeling it's gonna be a good one. I especially love Bristol so much. She's showing some common sense, I feel like. So yeah, this has lots and lots of potential already, and I can't wait to get more of this story. So yeah. Hello everybody, so I'm actually back to do a little official wrap up on this readathon and on this reading log. So I don't know how it happened, but I actually, when I finished my 24 hours of reading, I somehow forgot to do like an official wrap up. So I'm here now a couple of days later, but I just wanted to let you know what I ended up reading and, you know, just how my reading went. So what ended up happening is that I fully read 3 books during my little 24-hour readathon. I also obviously finished The Magic in Changing Our Stars. I finished The Wedding Witch. And then I read the entirety of House at the Edge of Magic, as well as The Holidays and The Comfort Food Cafe. So those were the books that I ended up finishing, and I made a little bit of progress in The Courting of Bristol Keats. So I only read like 60 pages of this, but I'm still very happy with the progress I made, and I'm very happy to be continuing on with the story because I feel like it's just started picking up the pace and it's getting really interesting. So I actually can't wait to jump back into this book. But yeah, as for the rest of them, I kind of want to say that my favorites that I read were The House at the Edge of Magic, just because it was so fun and so whimsical and magical. And then also obviously The Magic in Changing Our Stars, because it was so beautiful and in a lot of ways also just felt very inspirational. So yeah, I really appreciate both of these books. I did also enjoy the Christmas romances, but I have to say, I thought, judging by the first half of The Holidays, I thought it was gonna be a new like favorite holiday romance. But then in the second half of the story, there were a couple of plot twists that honestly just made no sense, and they were really frustrating, especially the specific plot twist that happens in the last 50 pages of the story. It was so bad that I genuinely considered DNFing the story just before the finish line, because the main character Holly was just being so unreasonable and it was like a miscommunication trope, and it just felt so ridiculous after everything that they had just talked about and went through for that shit to go down. So yeah, unfortunately it did knock down a couple of stars. Like the first half of the story, it was looking like a solid 4.5 if not a 5-star read, but then the second half of the story happened and unfortunately it was way too frustrating. So yeah, unfortunately I didn't enjoy the second half of the story as much as the first one. But yeah, so those were the books that I've read. I had so much fun doing this, honestly. I kind of prefer this kind of format for doing a 24-hour readathon, because whenever I attempt to do a 24-hour readathon, like straight up 24 hours, I always get interrupted, either like by family members or visitors, or there's always something that comes up. I feel like doing a 24-hour readathon while you're living with so many other people can be very challenging. So it makes it a lot easier to try and break up the 24 hours into like a couple of days at least. So I think if in the future I ever attempt a 24-hour readathon again, I think I'm gonna repeat this sort of format. So yeah, I just wanted to point it out. But yeah, I had overall a lot of fun. I feel like I read some really entertaining and sweet books, and that was definitely a bonus. So it was a nice way to sort of spend this in between days between the holidays. Thank you so much for tuning in and checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was fun and festive and cozy, which was sort of my goal going into it. I won't really know until I edit it, but hopefully I managed to get across that at least a little bit. But yeah, that's gonna be it for now. I hope you're having a great day or night wherever you are, and happy new year. So I think this video is gonna go up after the New Year's Eve, so you're probably watching this already in 2025, and I just want to wish you a very warm and peaceful and happy and fulfilled new year. I hope you get to accomplish all the goals that you set for yourself in the new year's, and yeah, spend it warmly and with your loved ones. So that's gonna be it for me for now, and I will see you with a new video soon. So until then, bye bye.